What's up YouTube, welcome back to another video on my channel Skotrix, and today as you can see we are back not on NBA 2K21 but instead we are back on this ranking chart right here, and in today's video I'm going to be ranking all of the best playmaking badges in NBA 2K21 current gen. I'll be ranking them from S tier, which is obviously the best, all the way down to F tier, which is obviously the worst, and I'll give a brief description of why I rank each badge where I rank it, and for some badges I'll also give a very brief description of what they do, but for most badges I'm going to try to ignore that just so that this video isn't crazy long. But before we get into the rankings right here, I just want to mention really quickly, if y'all have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, make sure you click that subscribe button. Only about 2% of people who watch my videos are actually subbed to my channel, so if you click that subscribe button right now, you can join the 2% gang. I really appreciate it, helps out a lot, and also I stream on Twitch. My Twitch link will be down in the description below. Make sure you go follow me over there if you enjoy watching live streams. But anyways, with all that being said, without any further ado, let's get right into the video here. Alright, so the first badge that we're going to be going over is going to be Unpluckable, and I'm going to put Unpluckable into the A tier. This is a pretty good badge, not quite an S tier badge, but it's pretty close. This is a really good badge for basically any build to have. Whether you're a guard, a wing, a big man, Unpluckable is a super good badge. Obviously it makes it less likely that you're going to get the ball stolen from you, but what a lot of people don't know about Unpluckable is it doesn't make it less likely that you're going to give up bump steals. It only makes it less likely that people are going to steal the ball from you when they press square or X if you're on Xbox. So just keep that in mind. If you notice that you have Unpluckable on either like Gold or Hall of Fame and you're still getting the ball stolen from you a lot, it's probably because you're either dribbling into the player's leg, the defending player's leg, or they're running into you and bumping you and taking the ball that way, which Unpluckable does not help against. It only helps when people actually click the steal button and try to get steals from you. So if you notice that you're still getting the ball stolen from you, just maybe try to be a little bit more careful with how you're dribbling and where you're dribbling, and hopefully some extra caution along with this badge will make it so that you never get the ball stolen from you. So yeah, that's Unpluckable A tier badge. Next up we have Tight Handles. I'm going to put Tight Handles into the B tier badge. It's in between B and C tier. This isn't a super essential badge, but it is a good badge just to put on bronze in my opinion. If you're like a play shot or really any type of guard that dribbles a lot and you just put this badge onto bronze, you'll notice slight differences in some size up animations that you get. It's not going to be anything crazy, it's not going to be all the time, but you'll notice very slight differences in how your size up animations feel and how the defenders react. So I recommend getting this badge just onto bronze for most guards, but I wouldn't recommend investing any extra attribute points after bronze into it. So I say just get it up to bronze for any guard build that can get it, and basically for any big man build you probably won't be able to get this badge and you're not going to need it anyways. So next up right here we have Stop and Go. I'm going to put Stop and Go into the E category, and I know a lot of people are probably going to be surprised by this, but just let me explain. Stop and Go for the last couple of years now has been one of those badges that's just not as good as some people think. Most people realize it doesn't do much, but some people still think it's good. And basically the main reason why Stop and Go is not a super good badge is because it takes away some animations that you're gonna want on your player and it subs them out for way worse animations. Plus, Quick First Step is much better badge for starting up moving quickly, and if you're going to stop quickly, you're just going to want to quick stop. You're not going to need this badge to quick stop, and this badge isn't going to affect how quickly you can quick stop, so I really don't recommend it. It's pretty much useless, and it could even go in the F tier, but I'm going to put it in the E tier because I know some people like it. But it's really a pretty much useless badge, so I don't recommend investing into Stop and Go. But next up right here we have Space Creator. I'm going to put Space Creator into the B category as well. I think this one is slightly better than Tight Handles. Tight Handles is really in between B and C, and Space Creator is really B, maybe a little bit leaning towards A. So Space Creator is very slightly better in my opinion, and what Space Creator really helps with is step back hop shots. And it's a pretty good shot in this game still. I know they nerfed it quite a bit early on in the year, but it is still a pretty good shot in current gen, and Space Creator really helps with those step back hop steps. It really helps create a lot of space, and if you have the Shot Creator takeover with this badge, you're going to be breaking ankles basically every time you do it. So it's a pretty good badge, B tier badge. I recommend any guards that can get it if you have at least like 15, 16, 17 playmaking badges. Put this badge onto probably Gold or Hall of Fame if you can get it there. If not, it's really good on any tier. But yeah, that's Space Creator B category badge. And next up we have an S category badge, and that's going to be Quick First Step. Not too much to say about this. Super good badge, obviously helps you accelerate faster. And I recommend basically putting this on for any build, any guard build, any wing build, even any big man build that has at least like 5 playmaking badges. You're probably going to want to get Quick First Step. And then next up right here we have Post Spin Technician, and this is a really interesting one. I'm going to put it into the C category, but this one is kind of like a dynamic badge where it could really move around depending on the player. And the reason I say that is because if you're doing post spin cheese, like I'm not going to explain how to do post spin cheese in this video, but basically it's when you're spinning in the post a lot. And if you're doing that, then this is probably going to be a badge that will help you out a lot. And if you are doing that, you're going to know that you're doing that, and you're going to know that you're going to want this badge. And if you're not doing that, if you're wondering either what the post spin cheese is, I'm sure you've played against it at least once, where people just post up, spin. If it doesn't work, they just do it again. If it doesn't work, they just do it again, and over and over and over until they get a good animation where they can get by you and get to the rim. So if you're doing that, this is a good badge. If you're not, it's basically useless for you because it's not going to help you out. So yeah, basically a super hard badge to rank, but you're going to know if you need it. Also, if you're a post scorer, it's a decent badge for you as well. So yeah, that's Post Spin Technician. Next up right here we have Needle Threader. I'm going to put Needle Threader into the A category. This is actually a really good badge. I recommend getting it for basically any guard that can, and even a lot of big men if you have a decent amount of playmaking badges. Obviously, everybody knows what Needle Threader does. It's pretty self-explanatory, and I don't really have much to say about this badge. A category badge though. Next up right here we have Lob City Passer. I'm going to put this one into the C category. Honestly, I feel like a lot of the times you really don't need this badge to be able to make lobs consistently, but it is still a decent badge. If you're a high playmaking build, you have a lot of badges, then you could definitely recommend it to this, especially if you throw lobs a lot. If you don't throw lobs a lot, this is pretty much a useless badge. But if you're really trying to grind rep throwing lobs in the park or wherever you're playing, then this is definitely a badge that you could consider investing into. Onto bronze or silver is probably good enough, but if you have a ton of playmaking badges, obviously you can get it higher. So yeah, Lob City Finisher right there, C category. Now we have Handles for Days, and I'm going to put Handles for Days all the way into the S category. This is one of the best badges in the game in any category in my opinion. Obviously what it does is lets your stamina go down much slower when you're dribbling, doing combinations, doing size ups, whatever you're doing. You're going to lose way less stamina when you have this badge rather than when you don't have this badge. So if you're a guard out there that doesn't have Handles for Days, at least onto Gold or Hall of Fame, I don't know what you're doing. You need to put this badge on as soon as possible. It is a super good badge for any guard and basically any wing, maybe some big man if you do a lot of dribbling. But yeah, Handles for Days, super good badge. Next up right here we have Floor General. I'm going to put Floor General into the B category. This is a good badge. Basically what it does is it gives a +1 boost to all of your teammates' offensive attributes at bronze, +2 at silver, +3 at gold, +4 at Hall of Fame. So where you'll find the most benefit out of this badge is when you're playing like 5v5 Pro-Am or the Rec, when you have 4 other teammates that are going to get boosts from it. If you're playing in the park, if you're playing 2s, you know, you'd have to invest maybe like 4 attribute points into this badge just to give your teammate a 4 attribute boost in all offensive categories. So it might not be the best value on 2s in the park. It could get some value on 3s since you'll have 2 teammates, but it's pretty much a B category badge. You only need 1 player on the floor having this badge as well. The attribute boosts don't stack, so if you have like 2 people in the Rec getting the attribute boost or having this badge on, then the first person will give the attribute boost to the other 4 people, and then that second person won't stack the attribute boost onto the other people, but they will give just you the attribute boost since this badge doesn't give yourself the attribute boost. Hopefully that makes sense, but pretty much there's only good reasoning to have 1 person on the floor at every time with this badge on. So just keep that in mind. If your teammate has Floor General, then you're not going to need it. If they don't, then you could consider getting it. And next up right here we have Dream Shake. I'm going to put Dream Shake into the... I'll put it into the C category. It's an okay badge. If you're a post scorer, I definitely recommend getting this badge as long as you have enough playmaking badges. If not, you can probably ignore it unless you're like a big man with a ton of playmaking badges and you want to try it out. But it's really not a super useful badge. I'll actually put it in the D category since it really only is good for post scorers. But if you are a pro scorer, then you're definitely going to want to consider investing into Dream Shake. Otherwise, you can ignore it. And next up right here, we have Dimer. I'm going to put Dimer into the... I'll put it into the A category. This is a super good badge. Obviously most people probably know what Dimer does, and if you're a guard or a wing or a big man that can get this with at least like 10 playmaking badges, then you should at least consider putting on Dimer to help out your teammates, especially if you find that you're getting a lot of assists. It'll help out your teammates a lot having Dimer on, even just bronze, but I recommend getting it up as high as you can to help out your teammates as much as possible. But next up right here we have Downhill, and I'm going to put Downhill into the... I'll put it into the D category, but I actually really like Downhill for like paint beasts that are like 6'8" to 6'10", or glass cleaning finishers, because if you get that rebound and you start to run in transition, you already have a decent speed on those builds, probably around 70 to 80, and if you get to running in transition with Downhill off of a defensive rebound, you're going to be running faster than guards. You'll be surprised. You'll be able to go coast to coast super consistently in the park, the Rec, the Pro-Am, wherever you are, wherever you're playing. Downhill is a decent badge for those type of builds, but for guards, I don't really recommend it. For slower big men, I don't really recommend it. So I'm going to put it in the D category here, but if you're a glass cleaning finisher or a paint beast, this is a badge that you're definitely going to want to consider putting on, and probably you're going to want to put it on as long as you have about 10 playmaking badges. You'll definitely want to invest into Downhill because it is a really good badge for those type of builds. And then next up right here we have Break Starter. I'm going to put Break Starter into the E category. This badge is okay, but I mean, you probably don't need it unless you have super low pass accuracy and you're just really having a tough time making full court passes off of rebounds. Otherwise, honestly, you could probably ignore it. Where it finds a little bit more value might be in the rec. If you're like a big man that gets a lot of rebounds and your teammates are always cherry picking, then you might want to consider getting it. But in the park, not really too much value. Really, in most places, not really too much value. So that goes in the E category right there. Not completely useless, but not really that good. Now next up right here we have Bailout. I'm going to put Bailout into the C category. This could go higher depending on your playstyle. If you're a person who bails out of shots a lot, then you're probably going to want it, honestly, since it will help you make accurate passes way more consistently. But if you're somebody that almost never bails out of shots like me, I pretty much, if I go up for the shot, even if it's 100% smothered, I'm just going to let it go. So for a player like me, Bailout is really not too useful, especially considering in 2K21 current gen compared to 2K20, Bailout passes without the badge are a lot more accurate. They don't just go out of bounds nearly as much as they used to. So this is a badge that you could ignore, or you could put on if you find yourself bailing out of shots a lot. That's why I'm putting it in the C category. It really is a decent badge. It's not one of the best badges. It's definitely not one of the worst badges. It really is somewhere in the middle for most players, but a lot of comp players use Bailout as well. So keep that in mind. A lot of the best players in the world use Bailout onto either Gold or Hall of Fame because obviously they bail out of shots a lot. And then next up right here we have Ankle Breaker. I'm going to put Ankle Breaker also into the C category, or I'll put it into the B category because you can actually get a decent amount of Ankle Breakers in this game. Especially if you have the Playmaking Takeover, this is a super good badge for you. If you don't have the Playmaking Takeover, you might still find some value out of it. You still might get people to fall, but it's not going to be as good obviously. So yeah, that's Ankle Breaker. Everybody obviously knows what it does, and it's a B category badge in my opinion, really somewhere between B and the C category right there, similar to Bailout. But next up right here we have Pass Fake Maestro, and I'm actually going to put this into the F tier. I know some people like this badge. I just don't see the usage for it. Obviously you can get people to bite on pass fakes sometimes a little bit, but is that really worth it over some of these other badges that are here? In my opinion, no, it's not worth it over basically any badge that's here. So I'm putting Pass Fake Maestro all the way down to the F category. I really don't recommend this badge for anybody at all. It's a pretty useless badge, so don't put it on under any circumstances. And then last up right here we have Flashy Passer. Flashy Passer is a very interesting badge because it is actually very good, but you have to use it consistently for it to be good. I'm going to put it into the C category, but similar to Bailout, this is a really dynamic badge that could go low or high depending on how you use it, because it really does give a good takeover meter boost when you do flashy passes. So it's a good badge if you do flashy passes, but if you don't do flashy passes, it's completely useless. So it really just depends on the player. If you want to put this badge on and kind of, I guess, commit yourself to doing more flashy passes, then that's something that you can do. You will find value out of this badge, but I don't know if that's really worth it in more competitive senses of the game. So that's why I'm only putting it in the C category right here. It is a decent badge, not amazing, not terrible. And yeah, that's actually the last playmaking badge for NBA 2K21 current gen. So this is going to be my ranking right here. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, what you would change and why you would change what you would change. But I think this is a pretty good ranking. Obviously this is just my opinion, but I think it's pretty good, pretty accurate. And yeah, that's going to be it for the video. If you guys didn't see my best finishing badges and my best shooting badges that I uploaded over the last 2 days, make sure you go check those out. And I'm also going to have the best defense badges coming out tomorrow, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And make sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss that. Like I said, only 2% of people who watch my videos are actually subbed to my channel, so if you click that subscribe button right now, you can join the 2% gang. I really appreciate it. Helps a lot. And also I stream on Twitch, like I said at the beginning of the video. The link to that will be down in the description below. Make sure you go follow over there if you like live streams. But yeah, that's going to be it. Alright. Peace.